Hello, and this is my reaction to Game Week 2 in the Premier League. What a week of Premier League football. What a start to the season we've had generally, because Game Week 1, very, very good game week. Game Week 2, I think, was even better. Yeah, I mean, it was just really, really good. Start off with the Friday night football, obviously, was a great game between West Ham and Chelsea. West Ham look absolutely shocking, is the way to put it. I think they play again today. Um, which is this is at the time of recording, which is the Tuesday. So I think they play again today in the Carabao Cup. Be interesting to see how they go on there. They're against Wolves, so the two teams that are yet to pick up wins after two games. Or should I say the two teams that are yet to pick up points after two games, because there's other teams that haven't got wins, but those are the two that have not picked up a single point. The two at the bottom of the league on a zero. But yeah, West Ham were dreadful. I mean, you start the season losing to Sunderland, and I guess looking at this, they started as they mean to go on. 5-1 defeat to Chelsea. Paquetá scored the first goal of the game, opened the score, and it was a good goal if I remember it rightly. I don't know, Friday feels like an age ago, but it was a fantastic goal if I'm remembering it correctly. But then João Pedro, Neto, Enzo Fernandez, Caicedo, and Chalobah had Chelsea 5-1 up, and to be honest, having watched the game, it easily could have been a lot more than that. It could have been 7-8. West Ham were just absolutely dreadful. Graham Potter, in the next couple of games, has got to try and save his job. I could see him getting sacked easily in September, because right now it's an absolute disaster at West Ham. For this game, I predicted 3-0 Chelsea, so I kind of saw it coming, a bit of a demolition job, but I did not think Chelsea would be scoring 5 goals in this game, especially without Cole Palmer. So a good performance from Chelsea, up against a very poor West Ham team, but you can only play what you're up against, and they've done exactly what they needed to do against West Ham. So fantastic result for them. That is 1 point in the predictions for me. Moving on to City against Spurs. Yeah, I mean, I think some people might have seen this coming. You probably shouldn't underestimate Spurs when they play against City, because they always seem to be able to turn up for some reason. Brennan Johnson and Polina had Spurs 2-0 up at half time, and yeah, they just held on to it. They're up to second in the league, 1 goal difference point behind my team Arsenal. So yeah, they're in a very good position. They've started the season really well, especially defensively. 0 goals conceded. I mean, to not concede to that City team is an unbelievable achievement. I had it down as a 2-1 City win. It ended up being a 2-0 Tottenham win. So that's 0 points from that game, and we stay on 1 point so far. Moving on to Bournemouth against Wolves. Yeah, Wolves were poor. Wolves were poor, but at the same time, I mean, were they that bad? I don't know. They went down to 10. That probably affected things a bit for them, but at the same time, they went down to 10 pretty early on, if I remember rightly. Again, I didn't watch this game, but from what I saw, they went down to 10 around half time, and they were just dreadful for the whole game. The red didn't really affect things in that manner. I think they conceded early on, 4th minute, and red card around half time, just after half time, and they were never really in with a good chance of getting anything out of the game from what I saw. So yeah, poor performance from Wolves again. I had it down as a 2-0 win for Bournemouth, so that's another point. That takes me up to 2 total points for this week. We got 9 last week, so hopefully we can improve on that. That would be good, but I don't know if we're going to. Moving on to Brentford Villa. Oh dear. Brentford winning this game, I don't think. I mean, I was sceptical of Villa. I said in the predictions, Villa have been poor. They weren't good enough against Newcastle, and this could easily be another loss. But I also said I don't think Brentford are very good, and that's why Villa I had winning this game 3-0. They lost 1-0 to Brentford, and it was another poor performance. I mean, maybe the return of Ezri Konsa will help Villa to improve a bit. I don't know. I think they need signings, really. They need players in the door very, very quickly, because if they don't, what are they going to do? They can't keep losing to teams like Brentford that many people had, including myself, at the very least in a relegation battle. They can't be losing to these bottom half teams. It's not good enough for them. They need to massively, massively improve. But yeah, got that one very, very wrong, and that leaves me still on 2 points. Something's got to save me here. Moving on to Burnley, Sunderland, and you know what? This is a stupid prediction. I predicted 1-0 Sunderland. I probably read too much into that win against West Ham, because West Ham are just poor. That's why Sunderland won so convincingly. West Ham are dreadful. And at the same time, you go to a hard place to play at Turf Moor and come away with a win. That would have been fantastic for Sunderland. So to go there and lose 2-0 shouldn't be a disaster. It's just Turf Moor is a bit of a fortress sometimes. It's a very difficult place to go and get a result. It always was. And it seemingly is going to be again a difficult place for some teams to go. I mean, we can't read too much into these first 2 games. We need to see Sunderland over a few more games, see if they are good. We need to see Burnley over a few more home games, see if Turf Moor is going to be a difficult place to go, or if it's just that a poor team went there and Burnley came away with the 3 points. So it's an interesting one. But again, I said 1-0 Sunderland, ended 2-0 Burnley. No points from that. We are still on 2 points after 5 games. That's not great. Moving on to Arsenal Leeds. Yeah, I mean, I had us winning 3-0. I said it could be a demolition job. I said it wasn't going to be a particularly easy game, though, because I said Leeds played really well against Everton. But at the same time, I saw Leeds as being a poor team. That's why I went with the 3-0. But 5-0 in the end. At the end of the day, it's a very, very good performance from us. Gyökeres brace. Max Dowman came on and won the penalty. Timber was absolutely outstanding. So many players were absolutely outstanding. It's just those injuries that are going to be the downside from this game, and hopefully neither of them are long term. They don't seem to be. I mean, Saka I think is going to be out for about a month, which is not great, but given what it could have been, I think we'd take that. And yeah, the Odegaard one, he could be back for Anfield from what I'm hearing. He's been called up for the Norway squad, which suggests it's not particularly long term, given that those games come a few days after Anfield. So yeah, hopefully those aren't too serious. But yeah, that is a point. So that's 3 points after 6 games. Moving on to Palace Forest, I had Palace winning 2-1. I mean, there was a lot riding on this game. It was a bit of an intense game from what I saw. I didn't watch it. I watched the Everton game, wanted to see the first game at the Hill Dickinson. But yeah, Palace Forest, from what I saw, it was a very, very good game, intense game. A bit like what we saw yesterday at St James's Park. But yeah, obviously over this whole UEFA thing, which European competition they would play in. Yeah, it's an interesting one. It ended 1-1. I had it down as a Palace win 2-1, so 1-1 is... I mean, it's not far off. It easily could have gone that way, but it is incorrect. And that sees us stay on 3 points. After 7 games, this is... I said the 9-pointer was good, and we would struggle to replicate it, but I did not think we'd be talking about 3-pointers. Let's just hope we can get something here. Next up was Everton Brighton, and I did, thank goodness, have Everton winning. I had them winning 2-1 though. They won 2-0, I believe. Yeah, they won 2-0. I was going to say, I thought it was 2-1 for a second, but no. They won 2-0. Danny Welbeck missed the penalty. And it was a very good performance from Everton, to be honest. Grealish looked good, and Dyer looked good. The defence was a bit shaky. Pickford saved them many, many times in that game, but overall, a pretty good performance, I'd say. Yeah, I think they dealt with the problems they had well. I mean, they had defensive issues, Pickford saved them, but they came through and delivered, I suppose is the way I put it. So yeah, that's very, very good for Everton to get those points. So that's another point for me, which is good news as well. That takes me up to, I don't even know how many, that takes me up to, 4 points? Yeah. So, yeah, moving on to Fulham United. I had it down as 1-1, which is bang on. So that's me up to 7. That's good news. Yeah, an interesting game of football. Bruno's penalty, what a disaster. What a disaster of a penalty kick. Smith Rowe with the equaliser. And I did say in my predictions, I think this is the sort of game where United will play well. Probably in some ways deserve to win, but they just won't come away with the 3 points. And yeah, I mean, if you look at the run of play, you could argue that's probably not accurate. You know, I was going to say that's probably accurate, but having watched the game, I think Fulham were really in the game for a lot of it. It wasn't a Man United dominance by any means. I think Fulham probably had more of the ball. So, yeah, I'm going to have a look at the stats quickly. Yeah, Fulham had high possession, higher XG, more shots on target, more big chances, more accurate passes, more corners. If anything, it looks like Fulham controlled the game, but it was a fairly even game, all things considered. And yeah, I think 1-1's probably a fair result. But yeah, that is me up to 7 points. Moving on to Newcastle Liverpool. What a game of football. Seriously, what a game of football, and congratulations to, I don't know how to say his name, the young 16-year-old who came on. Great goal. Great lead from Szoboszlai. Just a fantastic goal all round, that, to be honest, and a fantastic game of football. Great effort from Newcastle to try and come back with 10. Stupid challenge from Anthony Gordon, but fantastic fight back, and fantastic fight back again from Liverpool to nick one at the end. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't really understand the Newcastle situation. You know, they seem to be trying a bit too hard at 2-2 to try and make it a win. Really, they should have just taken the draw. They should have sat back a bit, but they were pushing hard to try and secure the win, which, fair enough. But I think that ended up costing them in the end, so probably not the right thing to do. But yeah, fantastic game of football. Dan Burn, Bruno Guimaraes, I'll say their names. Unbelievable performances from them for Newcastle in particular. Yeah, what a win for Liverpool though, late on. Just what a game of football. But yeah, I said it would be a win. I said it'd be a draw, sorry. A 1-1 draw. So, yeah, I was wrong. It was very close to being a draw, but as I say, ended up being a 2-1 win a 3-2 win for Liverpool. So yeah, that is my predictions. 7 points overall. Not bad. Obviously, I'll be predicting game week 3 at some point this week. And yeah, that'll be interesting to see. There's some big games next week as well. Arsenal Liverpool being the big one. Be interesting to see what I predict there. I don't know what I'm going to predict there because I'm a little bit worried about it. But yeah, we will see. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Goodbye.